Hi, this is Kylie Koo. Welcome to my studio. My video today is a speed process of a painting that I'm doing in one of my art journals. I'm doing this as part of a collaboration called #ArtsySecondSunday, and it's a collaboration organised by Martha from I Love to Paint. We'll be bringing our videos to you every second Sunday of the month. Our theme for this month is flowers. For this, I went into my garden this morning to take a look around at the flowers that were currently in bloom. And my focus for this page will be snowdrops, crocus and primroses. And all I'm doing just now is to get a kind of wash down. I've put some green down because there was a lot of greenery coming through, and I've put in some blue because there was a lovely blue sky, though at times it started to look a bit threatening because there was some rain in the air. And I'm using a Fabriano journal, which is, I think it's about 12 inches by 8.5, 9, so this is it fully opened out. All I'm using now are some Neo Colour 2 solubles just to kind of sketch in my plants. And what I did this morning was I got down as low as possible, so I was actually seeing them almost at ground level. And what I saw from that was not only the flowers but lots of other leafage in the area, because the daffodils are starting to push through. They're not in flower yet, but the leaves are there. And I just took a few snaps just to, as I say, give me inspiration. So beyond the flower bed I could see green grass, and then there was some big shrubs and trees behind that. So it was quite interesting getting it from the ground view up. Now all I've done is to pull a lot of colours, lots of colours of green, different greens, different blues, this one purple, and I think a yellow. So if you wanted more information on the colours, do let me know. If not, then or if this was something you wanted to do, just pull whatever colours you have. I was trying to make this quite impressionistic. I'm not looking to get a lot of detail on. It was more just about that feeling of the colours really popping. If you're watching this video as part of the premiere, then I do hope that you'll join us in the chat section, and there will be a link dropped in there to hop on to the next person, unless of course I'm at the end of the line. If you're watching it later on, however, there'll also be a full list of the participants in the description box below, and you can hop from person to person. Now obviously, depending on how many of us are participating any month, then it could take an hour or 2 hours to work through them all. So we do hope that you will join as many of us as possible. If not for the actual premieres, then you would maybe go back and watch them later. We're all just going to work with the same theme, but what everybody does will be quite different and specific to them. So all I'm doing at the moment is just trying to block in the flowers, not getting a lot of detail, just getting those kind of basic shapes. And the primrose had kind of bright orange centres, so just putting them in. I'm now just going to start to add some thicker colour in for the sky, and I'm just mixing a sort of turquoise and a blue just straight onto the page. Now the paint was quite thick, I didn't have a lot of water on my brush, and just blending really as I go. You will see in a moment that I take a piece of paper towel and just wipe some of it off, and it also helps to give just a little sense of some movement in the sky, adding in a little bit of white there just to lighten it a little bit. I used the black Neo Colour on the crocus just to give it a little bit of definition there, and in a moment you'll see that I take a pencil and just start to go round all of the petals just to highlight them a little bit more, and it gives a kind of sketchy feel to them. Sometimes I will start by sketching and other times I will add pencil at a later point. For me, art journaling serves a number of purposes. One, it's something in its own right, and I just enjoy, painting, doing mixed media or whatever into journals. Other times this might act as a sketch for me. And today it will end up quite sketchy. As I say, it's more impressionistic, because to work on a painting like this for me would actually probably take a few days if I wanted to get all the detail in. I could come back at any point and of course work on this further, put more detail in. I did actually think today about adding some sort of quote to it, but in the end I've just left it as is. So here I am now, just going back and adding in a bit more colour. Just going over all the flowers and really just doing a bit more blocking on them. Again, not looking at any great detail, just building up the colour bit by bit. And I end up with a nice kind of textured impasto effect to it. So my paints were a variety of different makes. Some were Reeves, some were Daler Rowney, I think. I just pulled more based on colour rather than any particular type there. There you'll see I've gone back to the crocus and just added in a little bit of white and making some of the petals at the back just that little bit darker, and those underneath as well. Again, just using the Neo colours, adding in a bit. Here I'm just using them to give the impression of the other leaves that were coming through, the luscious leaves around the primroses, the leaves on the snowdrops and the crocus, but also the daffodil leaves that were coming through, and there was certainly a lot of those. And all I'm going to do is to work some green paint directly over that. Again, not looking for fine detail on this, just getting the sense of those coming up and through, and almost just trying to create the feeling of movement in this. And although this is at, I think, 4 times speed, I was actually working pretty quickly on this today. Again, if I was doing this as a full piece, I would probably take my time with it, but because it was an art journal page that I wanted to pull together quite quickly to give it a kind of sketchy feel, I just really worked quite quickly. Adding a little bit of black here to the purple, and what I'm trying to do here is to create a rich, dark, earthy tone. I've added some red to that because the soil was looking absolutely superb. And, as a gardener, that's a joy to see that kind of luscious, deep brown soil. So I added that in, and now I'm going in and adding just a bit of the, I think it was a sap green I was using here, just to give a bit of the notion of the grass that was beyond this. And then I will do a little bit more on the kind of shrubbery beyond that, again just in a slightly different colour of green. There we go, just mixing up those colours just to give that sense of there being a difference between all the different aspects. Of course, giving it a good dry at different points. Now I'm just taking these colour pencils, and all I'm going to do is use them a little bit. Here I was using an indigo just to give a slight bit of definition, and you'll see that I'm not going right up to the outside edge. I don't mind that some of the Neo colour that I used to begin with is kind of overlapping, or it's out with that line. That doesn't bother me at all. If I wanted to do something more precise, obviously I'd be looking to blend that in, but that wasn't the purpose of what I was doing today. Added a little bit of white there, but that wasn't doing anything. Little tiny flecks of green on those inner leaves that you get on the snowdrops and on the kind of 3 outer petals. Or I should say the petals on the inside of the snowdrops. A lot of them just have that little slight tinge of green. Looking here for, I think it was a fawn or a soft brown, just to add a little bit to the primroses. Now I kept them very basic. The actual primroses had kind of folds in the petals and crinkles, but I just kept these very basic. Taking the green, just putting a little bit of definition on some of the leaves, bringing them to a slight point at times, but again, not being too concerned about that. So, I do hope if you're joining us for the premieres that you're enjoying hopping along with us. Do like, comment, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and if you're joining at a later date, please do look at the list below and follow that through. Hopefully, there will be lots of things that will spark your interest. Adding a bit of white to the sky just to break it up ever so slightly. But I had a lot of fun doing this page. It felt like spring just doing the page. We're close to the equinox now, so it's a good feeling watching the garden come back to life. So take care everybody. As always, thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.